Best of R / Tales from Retail Episode 5. Hello ladies and gents of all ages. I have been lurking around for a while and decided to share a delightful tale about a lady. Mandatory, English is not my first language, so please go easy on me. I was in my younger days as a salesman handling the ceramic tile department at one of the largest retailers in our country. We will call them Doberman. Me and my co-workers were having a pretty relaxed day, since the autumn sales were ending. Normally we would not have the time to stand idle and have a chat, but today was one of those days, and close to quitting time as well. In comes a lady, pretty weirdly dressed, and starts running around the store. She was wearing a weird coat, but other than that nothing that would really make her stand out. For now, we asked politely if we can assist her and what is it that she is looking for, since it looked like she did not know what she was looking for exactly. She just gave us a weird smile and took off. We said ok, and left her to do her thing. Half an hour later we notice her walking around with one of those gardening hatchets, the ones you would use for making splinters to start a fire or cut off small branches. We noticed that the security guard was following her and he was keeping his distance while talking in his radio. That's when we became nervous and asked what's wrong. He told us that she grabbed that hatchet and started to chop down the small trees and bushes in the gardening section, and when an employee noticed her and asked her what she is doing, she ran away with the hatchet in hand, and he was radioed in to follow her. As we were talking to the guard, the lady comes up to us, hatchet in hand, and asks us where the screwdrivers are. We got a bit nervous and asked her what kind and what for. She replied, "And ISTU not. The screwdriver is better for stabbing someone and that a hatchet was not good for that." We remained shell-shocked for a second, and the guard radioed in for backup and requested to have the police and ambulance over there. 2 more guards arrived while we made sure she did not leave, trying to talk to her and keep her mind occupied, and they took her into the guard office. Since that day, the tool and gardening section had guards keeping an extra eye out on them. You do meet all kinds when working in retail, and lucky no one got hurt, except the poor trees. Thank you for reading and sorry for the long post. Edit. I know it is my first post and I might look greedy, but if anyone wants to use the story in a video, you have my full consent. Just let us know about it in the comments, thank you. Edit 2. Advised by Tigress 666 to put in some paragraphs so it can be easily read. Thank you. Next. It was a busy night at the supermarket I worked at and I tend to get easily overwhelmed, so it wasn't a fun night for me. I had a script I followed with customers. "Hi, how are you?" "Good, thank you." Semicolon if they asked how I was in return. "Have a good one." I never said, "Good day," or, "Good night," because I always ended up saying the wrong one depending on what time of day it is. I wonder if that nugget of information is important. Anyway, I was racing through the customers in my line, trying to shrink it to a manageable level, when the next customer comes up. 62 at least, muscular and looked like an extra from Sons of Anarchy with the amount of tattoos he had. Did my usual greeting and got to scanning. At the end, as frazzled as I was, I looked him dead in the eye and said in my cheery customer service voice, "Have a go." Not sure if it's an Australian saying, but that translates to, "Fight me, you won't." My face dropped. He stared at me. I stared at him. He collected his bags and left, leaving me fearing my life for the next week. Thank you. Next. I'm just ranting a bit, but I recently got a job about 2/3 weeks ago and I took the job because I thought I wouldn't be working more than 30 hours a week. Naturally, that isn't the case. Day in and day out, I'm called into the office at work or called at home to extend or take a shift. I'm working almost every day, about 35-45 hours per week. My schedule is insane. I'm often working until near midnight and then having to come in at 6/7 a.m. in the morning. I think I declined one shift so far since it was just too last minute and I had to get oral surgery. I came in the next day too. This week, by some strange accident, I'm off for 3 whole days. Of course, I get called in on Monday, I come in, and then asked to take a shift Tuesday. I'm working from 3 p.m. to 10 p.m. today. But today was just too much. I get called again but to take a shift from 10 a.m. to 10 p.m. I moved around all my plans this week already and crammed it on Wednesday since I work Thursday, Friday, Sat, next Sun, Tuesday, Wed, Thursday, Friday, and sat. When I tell them no, I have plans and moved everything around, they try to push me to work from 2 p.m. to 10 p.m. instead. I tell them I can work from 5 p.m. to 10 p.m. and I can push some things to earlier in the day. Some back and forth and she just gives a passive aggressive comment and hangs up. It's pretty annoying and I'm aggressively applying to other normal 9-5 jobs. I already accepted working 3 overnights, when I literally provide overnight care to my ill grandparent and they knew that. I already accepted coming in at 6/7 am on Sundays when they knew I volunteered before 12 p.m. I had to call my director to basically quit until the holidays ended. I'm constantly compromising my own life and now they're upset I can't work a random 12-hour shift out of the blue. Heck no. I don't care how much you're busy for the holidays. Hire someone else. I'm telling you, it hasn't even been a month yet and if I have to beg my retired father to be up in the wee hours of the night to cover me for my grandma one more time, I'll quit. This is not okay. Thank you. Next. So I just got onto my break and was buying stuff from the shop floor for my lunch, obviously still in store's uniform, but it was obvious I wasn't working, in my opinion, as I was holding a sandwich and was away to get juice, both of which are at opposite ends of the store, and this dude goes, "Excuse me," and asks where the toilet paper was. He was probably in his 30s and had his young son with him, and I just look at him go into customer service mode and say, "Oh, it's just over here," and walk 2 aisles down and point to it saying, "Right there." But I kid you not, it looked like he had been in that aisle 2 seconds before I got there, and even if not from all the stuff in his trolley, he had probably been up and down every aisle in the store. Just to point out that our store has clearly labeled signs very visible hanging from the roof above every aisle so people can find things more easily, and our fridges and freezers are labeled in sections for ice cream, chips, chicken, etc. So it's easy to find things, and out of all the labels in the store there's only one that I would think toilet paper would be in. Home essentials. Like there's only one aisle with that name. All the others are frozen. Electronics, health and beauty, baby care, milk, includes butter and yogurt and cheese, baking, bread. You get the idea. Like toilet paper won't be in any other aisle. Not that helping him was a whole big task for me. I didn't mind helping him out. I just found it a little funny, cause if he had walked like 10 more steps or looked at the signs he would have found it. Thank you. Next. Hello dear Edit. I hope you can understand my story. My English is not the best in the world. I wanted to share it anyways. A little background for you. I am working at a retail shop which sells women clothing, and we have the policy that we can't return any clothing without a price label. We tell that every customer who isn't sure about their purchase, and we have it in written form in the shop and on the bill every customer gets. Besides that, you have 30 days to return your item, which is a lot of time to decide if you like that item or not, at least in my opinion. So this particular customer was a girl maybe like 17 years old. She bought a pair of jeans, cut the label off, tried it on at home, and because it doesn't fit she comes to us with both her parents to return it. My colleague explained her very polite that we can take it back because of the firm policy. Then both of the parents get furious about it. Tried to argue about it, but my colleague stood her ground and eventually they left. Then 2 days later all three came back inside the store. They tried the exact same thing with my other colleague. She stood her ground too and refused to return it. 3 days later, a furious mom calls me, explains the situation, that she wants to return the pair of pants but my colleagues won't let her. I ask her if the price label was still on the pants. She tells me, no. I tell her that in this case we aren't allowed to return it. She got really mad, wanted to talk to my supervisor. I got my supervisor on the phone, my colleague from 3 days ago. She tells her a fourth time that we aren't going to take back her pair of pants. She tells my supervisor that she will call our company boss. Good luck, it is a huge company, and hung up. Some people just have too much free time. Edit, some spelling. Thank you. Next. About this time last year, I was working in the meat department of the grocery store I am still working at. This time of year all the whole turkeys and turkey breasts start coming in and going on sale. Well, we had a sale of turkey breasts for like $0.69 per lbs. We had completely ran out of turkey breasts and our new order of breasts had just arrived. Outside of the department, There were hordes of angry customers wanting their turkey breasts. Once we get the truck unloaded and we got our pallets of turkey breasts to the department, we had to still weigh them and put a price on them before we could start giving them out to the customers. So we pull onto the pallets right next to our scale and tag printer, and we have 4 guys working to get the turkey breasts weighed and tagged. One guy was on top of the pallet and handing them to the guy who would set them on the scale, and then a guy would move the breast off the scale and tag it. Then they would finally hand it to me so I could give it to the customer. Well, the first customer in line was an older lady that was nicely dressed and obviously well off. So we get the first breast weighed and tagged and I walk over to hand it to her. Well, she didn't want the one I handed her initially and requested an 8 pounds breast. Well, after going through probably 20 turkey breasts, we come across one that is 7.91 pounds. I figure that would do, but she said no very impatiently and repeated herself saying she wanted an 8 pounds turkey breast. This made me pretty angry considering that there are at least 20 customers waiting in line behind her while we spend 10-15 looking for an 8 pounds turkey breast. Finally we come across one that is 7.97 pounds and I hand it to her. And sure enough, that's not good enough. Now I am visibly upset with her at this point, which I only think made her even more stubborn. Well, not long after, we find one that is 8.02 pounds and I basically tell her to take it or leave it, and she finally decided that it will do and sarcastically thanked me for finding one for her. Once she had left, we cleared out the line in less than 2-3 minutes because mostly everyone was happy with whatever they were handed. Thank you. Next. Short, simple, to the point. Happened last night at a unit of currency officer rank establishment. Probably like 11 PM. Pair of customers buying 2-liter sodas with a 3 for $3 sale going on for Red and White Circle brand and a separate sale. Same prices for 7 Skyward facing brand and a similar one for White Powder Plant Cola, but not completely relevant. Customer 1 loads sodas onto countertop belt. Me sees that the brands are mixed. Knows this frequently results in angry customers, with one incident involving a different cashier receiving threats of physical violence due to the discount not being applied, so I decide to preempt the issue. Excuse me, mom, if you're interested in the 3 for $3 deal, you'll need to swap out the other brand of ginger ale for another one of this same brand. All of our store's coupons and sales are at discretion of the manufacturer, which unfortunately means we're unable to apply discounts when brands are mixed. Customer 1 explodes to a small degree, and frankly I don't remember the exact words or feel like making up words. Customer 2, husband, starts pulling a face and giving me a knowing look of having had to deal with this sort of thing before in the same day. Okay, we can just put this one back and grab the other one. Nothing has been rung up or totaled yet. Customer 1, no, this is not okay. The signs back there say 3 for $3 for both of those brands. This is false advertising. Walks off to looks at the signs in the soda aisle again. Now those signs have it indicated by visual and text that it refers to a certain brand only, and while I can understand the potential for confusion thanks to the rather generic and small nature of the signs, but I'd hope a second look would confirm that each one is a separate deal confined to their own brand. Customer 2. This is why I hate to go shopping with her. Customer 1 returns, continuing to rant about false advertising and has not reached the I'm going to call corporate about this stage. You need to go back there and look at the signs. Night shift supervisor arrives after finishing with some tapes, bills, and safe stuff, says something a bit out of my hearing but enough to placate the woman as he walks back to the soda aisle to check what we both already know is on what signs. Customer 2 has already retrieved a matching brand of soda and let me move the mismatched one to the go backs cart. Night shift supervisor. The signs do indicate that each sale is for the specific brand marked on them. Customer 1. It's still misleading advertising. Why can't you just apply the discount anyway? Me. Has already rung up all the sodas, totaled the amount, and I'm just waiting for customer 1 to be present for payment. All of our coupons and sales are brand specific. It's like you had the option to buy 3 of something from 2 different people, but only got a discount if all 3 were from one of them. If you mixed buying between the 2 of them, neither would be happy and would refuse to give their discount. Customer 1. Seems to finally understand why we can't give the discount, or just resign to having to get 3 sodas from the same brand, and pays for them. She did get her discount. Had a good laugh about it with the supervisor afterwards. Well, more of a tired chuckle.